All right, so one of the creative projects I'm working on right now is basically I'm taking audio that I recorded at protests and I'm using that to make samples. So I'm making drum sounds, percussion, making even some instruments, some synths. And I put up a video, just like a quick phone video of the beat on just on my Twitter and Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And my buddy and collaborator, Nothing New, was like, how are you getting that synth lead sound? So I thought it would be cool to break it down and do a little synth tutorial, just how you can take pretty much any sound you want. Like, you can really use anything. And just some techniques to shape it and to manipulate that sound into something that's playable and something that's musical. So let's jump into it. All right, so the synth in question, right? Well, first of all, this is all stuff made from the same samples. It's this. This is just an iPhone protest recording. I have about a half hour of this. You know, there's some of the chants and that kind of stuff. So basically, what I'm doing here, as far as making the synth, right? There's a couple things going on. So compressor, that's just to catch some peaks. Same EQ stuff here, that's just some housekeeping to clean out the low end a little bit and tame the highs. I have reverb and echo to make it sound a little bit nicer. So let me just turn all this off. So that's the synth dry. Maybe we'll keep the compressor on. What was that? Make it loud enough, yeah. Alright, so as far as all the squealy, like, twisting lead stuff, I played in just some melodic ideas. And then what's happening under the hood, if we turn this arpeggiator off, we're just, you know, it's a simple idea, nothing too crazy. So what this is doing, it's an arpeggiator, and I'm modulating the rate. So at the lower rates, like probably below like a 16th note or a 16th note triplet, then you hear it more as notes, as like an actual arpeggiator. But what's cool is, like, if you just crank this up, like probably anything over like a 30-second note, like that still sounds like arpeggiation, like melody. Once you push it further than that, it just sounds like lasers or something. It's like some kind of an effect. You don't really hear individual notes unless you cut the gate time down. Even then, that's kind of cool. That's like, it's more of like an effect. You're not really hearing it melodically anymore because you can't hear individual notes. It's just going by so fast. So it's like your video game sounds. So anyway, that's that. Now you may be asking, you may be like, hey, but wait, you said this was all from protest sounds. What's this waveform, right? Well, let's go back a step. Let me just copy this. I'm going to duplicate the track. And I'm going to show you how this works. So basically, you can use anything you want as a wavetable, just as long as it's not too long, right? So like, for example, and you can just drop in samples into the wavetable synth, right? Let me just make this bigger so we can see. So for example, if you take, say if I tried to take this whole thing, it's like a couple minutes, whatever it is. If I try to just drag this whole thing in, it won't let me. It's too big, right? So then what you do, say I want to just take that. Let's copy and paste. Say, hey, let's take this little snippet. Still won't let me, right? Because it's not cropped, right? You're still trying to load this whole file in. You're just only viewing a little bit of it, right? So what you have to do is you just have to crop your clip, or the shortcut way is I'll just do like Command J to render it in place. But now this is short enough that it'll let me, right? That's this one. Let's make this oscillator something else. Just whatever this is. Right, no, let's do a little more intention than that. You say, I'll show you something cool if it's possible. Let me find a vocal thing.
Underfunded.
Let's try this.
Underfunded.
Underfunded. Okay. So we're gonna copy this, paste, consolidate it in place, and then cool. Well, it's not cool that stuff's underfunded, but that's getting into politics there. I'm just talking about working the other button a little bit. The delays really help with some of this arpeggiation stuff. It just makes it sound more grand. But anyway, I'm gonna just minimize this. So similar kind of sound, just because I guess it's whenever you have like a really jagged waveform like this, it's kind of buzzy. But we can move the wavetable around and change it. Let me put my gate back. Yeah, that's basically it. So you're just using audio samples as a wavetable that you can sweep through. And you can see, you know, some of my envelopes and stuff are moving around the wavetables. I wonder if I turn this one off, what do we get? Pretty cool. I'd like to just scan around and find a good spot, too. Oh, the other thing you can do, let me show you more sample manipulation, though. The other thing you can do is if you come down here, make this bigger so you can see. If you come down here, there's a couple different modes that you can use to fold the waves differently. So let me just solo only this oscillator. So you can kind of mush the wave around. Like that's getting to a kind of different place, which is cool. It's getting noisier, but kind of in a cool way. Yeah, but there's a couple different modes. More synchy kind of vibe. There's an FM one. This can get really buzzy fast. Kind of cool. This is getting a little bit noisier than I want, but I'll go back to the classic one. This is cool. And the folding off. It's kind of nice. Cool. And go to the other oscillator. We're going to do the same kind of thing just to manipulate the wavetable that we're using. Get a little noise in there, see if I can make it cut differently. Put this together. This is kind of nice sound. It's a little bit more, a little chewier. Oh, that's a weird adjective. I hope that makes sense to people. I don't know why you make these weird comments. They like kind of make sense in the moment. But anyway, that's what's going on with this sound. And let me just make a new wavetable, and I'll show you another cool trick we can do. Because this is pretty like I don't want to necessarily undo everything because some of the stuff is pretty heavy-handed. I think it would make more sense to just show you kind of from the beginning. Just minimize this, change the color, so I don't get confused, because the session is a mess. I gotta do some cleanup. So let's go back to this one, the underfunded sounds. We're gonna take this, put it in here. Here's what's cool. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. If I'm just playing a note on my keyboard and just playing the C key, if you leave this in one place, you're just getting whatever this isolated wave is. But if you sweep through the wavetable, you can hear what he's saying still. So let's see if we can get an envelope to behave with that. So we're going to go in the matrix. We got our oscillator position. Let's use envelope 2. It's going backwards. Oops. So we just flip this around. I think. There we go. There we go. So yeah, sometimes if it's going the wrong way, you got to flip a value or something, or just play around with the envelope to get the timing right. Move the release time somewhere. Go up. So I don't know. This is I'm getting in my own world a little bit. I could do this for hours, and I often do. But so it's like it's not like a vocoder sound, but it's tremendously interesting to me that I can take whatever sample and just drop it in here, and still, if you sweep through the wavetable the right way, you kind of get the essence of it. And then if you want to get really heavy-handed with envelopes and LFOs and stuff, you can totally like demolish whatever this is, like just doing something like this. Now we're in a very different place. But again, you can still hear a little bit of the voice in there, which I find interesting. Not so much when you start to do this kind of stuff, right? This kind of... Oops, come on. Let me expand this. Like I said, screen real estate is a problem, people. So anyway, do with this what you will. I think this is really cool. Like I said, you could take pretty much any sound and make that like kind of the DNA of some of your sounds that you're using when you build instruments and do drums and that kind of stuff. So let me know how I did. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was interesting and you got something out of it that you can use in your music. If you have any questions, let me know in comments. That definitely helps me. If you want to give me a like and a subscribe and see more of this stuff, you know what to do. So, peace. Thank you for watching.